See, this film is for pan-Indian audience, and we have speakers from pan-India too. Vinod from Tamil Nadu, who tried to speak in Telugu. Huma from Delhi, who tried to speak Telugu. And of course, Kartikeya, who is from Andhra or Telangana. And he is born here and he can speak Telugu very fluently. I'm from North India, but my soul, my love, my heart has always been South India. I started my career doing remakes of South film. Hum Panch was my first film, which was Bapu Garu's film, remake of a Bapu Garu's film, Manuri Pandalu, which we made in Hindi as Hum Panch. So that's where my journey as a film producer started. Of course, before that, I was with my father. I was the production boy, production executive, production controller, whatever, production manager. And I did a bit of assistant editing also. I was assistant editor for 4, 5, 6 films. Assisted Shakti Samanta for 5, 6 films. So I came with some kind of an experience with the craft of filmmaking. And then, of course, making my first film with Bapu taught me a lot of things. Bapu, who belonged to South India, who was basically from Andhra Pradesh, he shot most of his films in Andhra. Rajmundry was one place which I visited courtesy him, and I saw the beautiful sight of that time. Andhra and Telangana was the same. So it had a good mix of history and good mix of, it was literally a visual delight. So you've heard a lot about me, and you've seen a little bit of the audio visual which you made. But I was sitting there, I noticed that you missed out on 4 or 5 of my iconic films. Mr. India, No Entry, Wanted, Judai.
Sir, yeah, they missed it, sir. I know. Mr. India, నేను కూడా వెయిట్ చేశాను Mr. India కోసం, but
I thought probably
sir, तेलुगु कवर किए सर, वो प्रॉब्लम हो गया यहाँ पर थोड़ा सा.
Whoever did this audio visual for me, to display what I have done, please request him to add these films.
Yeah, sir. वहाँ पर next time से ऐड हो जाएगा, लेकिन हमारा दिल में है सर. Mr. India हमेशा रहेगा.
Mr. India, Wanted, No Entry,
Wanted,
Judai, Sirf Tum.
Correct.
See, Sirf Tum was a remake of a film which Ajit did in Tamil.
Correct. Yeah.
And that's a film that really moved me, and I thought I'll make it with my brother, who was not doing well, Sanjay Kapoor. And it proved to be a successful film. I loved Ajit in that film. And while I was doing that film, I saw Ajit's Wali. So my association or my fondness for Ajit began from that time. I think it was in mid-90s when Kadal
1999, sir, Wali.
Wali came later. I think Kadal Kondan was before Wali, Vinod? Kadal Kondan was before Wali, isn't it? So, Kadal Kotai, sorry. Agatyan's film. Ajit and I think there were 2 girls, Hira and one more. Who was the heroine of the film? Devyani. I did that with Sanjay, Priya and Sushmita Sen. Here, of course, the fondness of Ajit started from there. And here I am today on the threshold of my 3rd film with Ajit. And fortunately for me, I have the same director, who has brought us to this stage that we are doing another film together. And I hope we make another film together, the 4th film together too. See, the combination of Vinod and Ajit has been absolutely fantastic. They've gone out of the way, their passion inspires the entire crew, and it surprises me. You see, imagine in the height of COVID, these 2 were almost like fighters, ready to risk everything. And the best part was, whether it was Vinod or Ajit, both stuck to their convictions, both gave their best, both remained focused. Imagine for a span of 2.5 years, and the kind of sadness which was around, the kind of misery which was around, in the midst of all that, taking risk and going ahead with what they had visualized. Hats off to Ajit, hats off to Vinod, to drive the entire crew with them. And mind you, we didn't have a small crew. At any given time, we had almost about 200 people around, and sometimes maybe even more. Am I right, Vinod? So they drove the entire crew, they inspired the entire crew. Of course, we had Huma to support, Kartikeya to support, and the rest of the cast. This, in spite of some actors backing out because of the fear of COVID, we had to reshoot couple of scenes, couple of portions which were shot earlier with some other actors.